Welcome back, everybody, to the Lord of Locals channel, and it is test hand time. I'm excited to show you these test hands. It's really necessary with this deck because it's just so non-linear. It's going to be hard. I'm going to tell you, I might mess up. I might do a line that's different from you. That's great. Play the lines you know, play the lines you want to do. Let me know in the comments because there are so many different ways you can go at any situation that it's hard to determine which one's better. So I will just be doing a couple test hands. They're kind of long, so I might only do one or two, but we'll see what happens. So let's just get this shuffled up real quick. Make sure we can see the EMZ. We can see the spell trap. Perfect. Can we see the deck slot? Deck's over at the end, graveyard. Slightly off camera, but we can work with it. Okay, this was just organized for the deck profile I did, so I'm gonna make sure it's shuffled really good. Okay, we have as our first opening hand, Jackalope, Nessie, Accession, Gold, and Genta. Okay, this is an interesting one. So I think first off, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pitch Genta, search gates. Gonna activate gates. And then I think we're gonna use a danger here. I think I wanna see what I can draw before I commit to a gates on gold. You know, gates on gold without a graph or without a rainbow is not super useful. I'd really prefer something else. So let's activate this Nessie. The reason behind activating Nessie instead of Jackalope is I would really prefer Nessie were special summoned rather than just discarded. I would prefer the Jackalope to be discarded. And this creates the best scenario where I can special Nessie and pitch Jackalope. And I think that's how I want to play it. Picking your dangers to discard and to use is still a bit strange to me. I'm not sure what the best move is. Let's see. All right, we got gold. So we get danger, get a draw. Would you look at that? That's what we want to see. Get the gold special. Okay. Now we're gonna use gates. We're gonna banish Genta, pitch Snow, draw a card. We get a Ceruli. That's fantastic. Get the Snow effect and the Genta effect. Genta special summons. We're gonna use Snow here. We already have the Accession, so let's grab a Rainbow. And now I think we use Jackalope. Because what's going to happen here is Jackalope is either going to discard our Rainbow, which is what we want anyway, that gets us our Grapha. It's going to discard our Ceruli, which lets us discard Rainbow, which gets Grapha and a Snow. Or it's going to discard our Accession, which we can use the graveyard effect to guarantee a discard on Rainbow. And if Jackalope discards itself, we just get to special, I don't know, a Mothman from deck. We have a 4, we go into Dagaris. That's what it is. So this seems like the perfect time to use Jackalope. Up. And Rainbow. Perfect. Sorry, it flew off camera a little bit there. I was a little too happy with that. But we get our Jackalope special. We get a draw. It's a lure. We don't really need that right now, but that's fine. And then Rainbow search for Grapha. Now, we have 4 cards in hand, but I would like to have more. Let's go into Yugioh here. Okay, alternatively what we can do here is we can bounce the Genta to special Rainbow, pitch the Genta for another gates, and discard something, but I don't really have any Dark Worlds I want to discard right now. Like Grapha, there's no reason to, and Ceruli on Grapha is okay, but it's not really what we want to be doing. Actually, let's bounce gold for Rainbow first, so we keep the resources in our hand, and then let's link into Yugioh. So we get Yugioh effect. Let's draw 4. Bigfoot, Burial Goods, which is Metal Foes Fusion at this point. Grapha, Rainbow. Let's put back this Allure because we don't need it. I think we're about to be using Ceruli on this Rainbow. So I don't think we want to put back the Rainbow. We can put back the Grapha. We really can also just put back the Burial Goods. Like, Burial Goods for Metal Foes at this point is not terrible. or burial for metal foes is fine, but I'd prefer a card that we know than a card we don't. So let's put back those. Does that go to the bottom? Yeah, bottom of your deck. Okay, so now I think we accession. Get out our Omni. We're going to pitch Grapha and Ceruli. Get out big Grapha. Ceruli chain 1, Grapha chain 2 to chain block in case they have like Skullmeister or something. So our opponent gets a Ceruli, and we pop something. Ceruli discard. We're going to discard our Rainbow. Rainbow effect triggers. We will search out... We already have a Grapha in rotation, so let's grab Silva and special summon a Snow. Now I think we bounce the Snow, special Rainbow. Now what? We can go into Cross Sheep here, but that doesn't seem useful. We obviously have this. We also don't want to go into Cross Sheep yet because we want to use this Yugioh. Let's go. Let's use this Bigfoot here. If we can hit something in special, we can maybe go into Coach King. Just get another draw 3. Plus, we have a lot of good things to discard here. Gold. So we special Bigfoot. Draw a card. We get. Ugh. Well, it was going to happen eventually, but again, we are perfectly fine here. We do not need this Metal of Those Fusion, but if we get a search later, it's just fine. Special gold. We're going to bounce gold for this Grapha in here. And then we are going to overlay for Coach King. And we're just going to draw 3 cards. I mean, I don't know what else we're doing here. We get Danger Nessie, Salamander Catalyzer, that's good, and another Grapha. For reference, we burn our opponent for 19 there, which is quite good. Let's use this Yugioh now. Let's just special summon a Silva and then bounce the Silva for Rainbow. And then I think we Catalyzer here to pitch our Snow and search out archives. And I think we are good now. I think we literally have our full end board. So let's make Apollosa here. Right, we had 4 different names: Salamander, Yugioh, Rainbow, Coach King. Let's make our Apollosa for 4. And then let's archive. You guys can see that. And then let's use our Dark World Accession effect. Turn to hand. Let's pitch Silva. Silva chain 1, archives chain 2. We'll pitch Metal Foes Fusion. Right? Yeah, we haven't used archives effect, so we have a guaranteed discard. And I want this Metal Foes out of my hand. Metal Foes Fusion, special Silva. Silva bounce for Rainbow. And then let's do archives effect. Oh, did we get our draw 2? We didn't get our draw 2. So we draw 2. And look at that. Gates, Ceruli. So actually we can do this. We can go Gates. Gates banish a random fiend. Let's do Salamander. Pitch Ceruli. Draw. It's another Snow. Ceruli effect. Oh, this Ceruli needs to be dead. Yeah, because we Ceruli'd first. Ceruli'd before we accessioned, and we pitched a Grapha with accession. And so Grapha has to target something, so this Ceruli is actually dead. This Ceruli will discard our Silva. Silva will come back, hand loop you for 2. Bounce Silva. Special Grapha. Overlay for Hope Harbinger. And there you go. That's your run-of-the-mill end board, but we also just have 6 cards in hand. We haven't used Archives effects, so we can get another Silva special summon. We haven't normaled yet. We could normal Snow, use Nessie, go into frickin' IP as well. Like, we're ending the turn. We set our accession, which gives us a pop because we can make Grapha on their turn. We're ending our turn with 5 cards in hand. 4 monster negates, an Omni plus either a hand loop or 2 pops because we've got gold, a spell negate, and battle trap. Like, God, this is nuts. Look at this board. Now you might be going, oh, but one Bestial. Okay. It's hard for me to imagine what it would look like if a Bestial. But what did they Bestial? Did they Bestial our very first rainbow? Okay, that kind of hurts, but we still have discard fodder, and we still have a snow, so we can just search out another, or we can search out archives or a way to get it. We drew into 2 rainbows. Like, we have this rainbow and this rainbow, so if they do one rainbow, we're terrible. We have 2 Graphas, so they can't Bestial a Grapha, because we just have another one. We had both gold and silver, so they can't get those. We'll still end up with 1 bouncer for extenders. Like, what does 1 Bestial do against us? What does 2 Bestials do against us here? You can play through it. You have so much extension. But that was test hand number 1. I will come back in a bit for test hand number 2. I think number 2 is the one we're going to do, is the last one we're going to do. These are kind of involved and require a lot of thinking. But I will see you on the flip side. All right, test hand number 2. Let's see what we get. Mothman, Catalyzer, Grapha, Chupacabra, Gates. Okay, this is a bit of a rough one, but we have a lot of draws with these dangers and with these Gates. We have a couple of Fiends and we have a good discard with Grapha. So let's see what happens. First order of business, Gates. Next order of business, let's do Mothman first, because in the bad case scenario where it discards itself, we can then use Chupacabra to either special summon itself, or if it gets discarded, summon Mothman. So let's activate Mothman. Chupacabra. Okay, that wasn't great, but that does give us a Fiend engrave. Special Mothman, draw. Bigfoot. Okay, so it's another extender, which is fine. Let's Gates here. Banish Chupacabra, pitch Grapha, draw. Metal Foes Fusion. Ugh, okay, this is a good way to see what happens if we brick, but it's even not that bad of a brick. So let's normal Salamander. Let's overlay for Dugares. Dugares effect, pitch 2, draw 2, allure, accession. Okay, so worst case scenario here, we will end up with a big Grapha, because we have a Grapha in rotation and we drew accession. So let's discard Metal Foes Fusion here, because it's just clogging up our hand with Dugares, and then now we can use Metal Foes Fusion. Quick shuffle and draw. Grapha, okay. Once again, we have that. So worst case scenario here is actually not that bad. In the worst case scenario, we accession to banish the Grapha and the Mothman from grave, and then hold a Grapha in hand for use with big Grapha, which is actually not that terrible, because that means we get an Omni, a Pop, and a Rip out of the hand, which for 1 card is fine. That means our fail case board here is not going to be terrible. But I think we can do better. This Bigfoot is not really doing anything right here. So it could be fine to banish off of Allure. So let's Allure here. We get Brow and Thunderbird. Okay, that's something. Huh. I think we banished the Thunderbird. It's smaller and just not as good as Bigfoot. Already normaled. This is tricky. We could, let's accession here. I think, What happens if we Bigfoot here? We pitch Grapha, that's fine. We get another 8, we get a draw. We accession, we pitch Brow. I think we actually want a Bigfoot here. We get a couple, if we Bigfoot, pitch accession, we just use accession's effect, pitch the Brow and get another card in hand. We pitch the Brow, we get Bigfoot, we draw. We have 2 Graphas, so we can definitely Allure here. Snow, Gates. Oh, this is perfect. Look at this. We got ourselves out of it. So let's use Gates here for Snow. Let's banish our Catalyzer because it's not doing anything. pitch Snow, draw, another Snow, even better. Snow, let's find Archives, because we want a couple of discards here. Right? No, actually, I think we want Rainbow, and then we search Archives off of this Snow. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to accession, pitch Snow and Grapha for big Grapha, Snow trigger, search Archives, this accession goes away, activate Archives, add accession back to hand, pitch Rainbow, Dark World Archives chain 1, Rainbow chain 2. Because it discards for effect, we don't have to have the card in hand that we want to discard with Archives until it hits our hand. So we're actually going to use Rainbow as chain 2 to search out Silva. And then we will pitch Silva to the Archives and draw 2. Bigfoot Snow. Special Silva. Special, we'll grab Rainbow. Let's set the Archives. Let's set the accession, because I don't really want to hit it here. But let's see. We don't have the zones right now if we hit Silva. So that's not great. Instead, how about we use Archives now? Because we haven't used Archives effect to pitch. Let's... yeah, that's fine. Let's pitch Silva to Archives. Silva effect, special. Silva effect, bounce for Grapha. We have all 3 Graphas in rotation. That's hilarious. And then we can link these 4. Right? We have a Bigfoot in hand? Yeah, we have a Bigfoot in hand. So we have an extra 8 in the Bigfoot for Hope Harbinger. So let's link these 4 into Appaloosa. So we have an Appaloosa for 4. And let's use Bigfoot's effect. The best discard right here is Silva, but if we hit Snow, it's fine. So we have a 2/3 shot of hitting the card we want. And we hit a Snow. Special Bigfoot, draw a card. Foolish Burial Goods. We've already used Metal Foes Fusion, but that means we can get Metal Foes Fusion out of our deck to draw next turn. Snow, we're going to add Genta. Genta, we're going to pitch for Gates. Activate Gates over Gates. Let's draw real quick because we're about shuffle real quick because you're about to draw. We're going to banish. I actually don't want this Genta right now because we have no use for it. Yeah, we have no use for it. So let's just banish this Dugaris, pitch Silva, draw into a gold, special Silva, bounce Silva for Rainbow, overlay for Hope Harbinger. And we got there, folks. Guess what? We got there. You know, that opener was not great. You know, we had 3 dangers at Gates with no Fiends and Salamander. Or we had 2 dangers, Grapha, Salamander, and Gates. That wasn't fantastic. But because of the sheer... And we drew into Metal Foes Fusion. That's not what you want to see. Even with that, look, we drew into the cards we needed. We used Tour Lures to dig through our deck and find the cards we needed. We churned through and we got out of it. Now, obviously this hand would fold much harder to a Bestial. But that's okay. That's just the nature of a bricked hand. You know, if any other deck bricked that hard, they would probably lose even with 0 interruptions because they couldn't do anything. We bricked pretty hard, but because all of our bricks are still extenders like Mothman, Chupacabra, because they still churn, they still extend us, we can get to this end board with absolutely nothing. We can get to this end board with a shoelace and a prayer. So, guys, I love this deck. I love this build. I love the way we play it these days. Bouncing stuff for Grapha has never felt so good. The loops with Grapha were always my favorite thing, and you can do them to the moon. I mean, how many times did we bounce for Rainbow or Grapha? 5, 6, something like that. The dangers are wonderful. I originally hated them because it feels like EDO Pro discards them most of the time, but like, it's fine. When they go off, and you can just extend your way into a Yugioh, extend your way into a free Appaloosa. This deck is insane. Play it. Let me know how it goes. Next time I go to locals, I'm taking this, and I'm hoping to go undefeated. We'll see what happens. But until then, I will see you in the next video.